Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and once again I got a quick message for you before we start on tonight's video. We're coming up on the end of June, and I hope all of you have had a very happy Pride. Like you've seen in the past couple of videos, I've been pushing Black Rainbow, which is a book that's available now on Amazon, and it features all LGBT plus authors. So, what a wonderful thing for June, and I really encourage you guys to check it out. I think it's a great book. I think it's from some amazing authors, and they've contributed amazing stories to the channel as well. So there's that. And I also want to tell you about tonight's sponsor. You guessed it. It's Raid Shadow Legends. Raid has taken over and gaming will never be the same again. Raid is the first game to bring true console-level experiences to your phone. They've set the bar high and there's no going back. Explore millions of champions combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 500 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your team, develop your champions, and raid your way. You guys have seen them sponsor other videos, so you know that I've been playing Raid for a while now, and these are some of the champions that I've been using. I actually think I might have shown you them before. I honestly love these characters, so some of the characters I have are like Sissy of Flametongue. If you need burn, Sissy of Flametongue's your champion. As her name suggests, she's all about HP burn. Raid's got a jam-packed schedule of events to kick off the summer, as well as a load of new content, and as always, they've got a bunch of brand new champions coming out, and every single one of them looks absolutely badass. I mean, look at these guys. There's also a new rotation of the Doom Tower, which I definitely want to finish this month, so I'm going to be trying to summon as many of these new champions as possible to see if they can help me reach the top. Don't wait around and don't miss out. If you want to get a huge head start on Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan my QR code, what you're seeing there, and you'll get an epic champion, Chinoru, who's amazing at the Doom Tower, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. And once you're in, you can find me in the game under the name MrCreepyPasta, because somebody took my name. And if you're fast, you can still join my clan, the MrCreepyPasta Boys. And it's that easy. Just click on the link in the description and I'll see you in game.
Before I talk about what happens next, can I just ask, why do they make basements so creepy? It seems like every basement has some sort of requirement that it has to be dank and dark and home to spiders and mice or something. Now I got nothing against spiders or mice. Spiders are just trying to make webs from their butts. Mice are just trying to make holes in things with their teeth. If I could make a web with my butt, I'd probably want to spend all my time doing that too. I can already make holes in things with my teeth. It's not that special. Sorry, mice. People try to disguise their basements with carpeting and pretty lights and stuff, but it doesn't make them less creepy. There's a guy at the funeral home that puts makeup on somebody's dead body so they look alive. Obviously, you don't want the dead person to look all messed up and gross, but maybe don't make it look like they're just sleeping and could get up and climb out of their coffin any second and say, "Hey, Lily, it's not your fault. My dad ran over me with a motorboat. He shouldn't have been drinking." Putting carpets and pretty lights in your basement is like putting lipstick on a moldy gray corpse. Okay, I said enough. David Clark clutches his head where blood is running out of his hair. "Oh, I can't believe you hit me with a TV!" he snarls through gritted teeth. He's standing in the door to the hallway somebody wallpapered with Mrs. Donovan. That weird talking stuffed rabbit sits on his shoulder. David looks sleepy and pale. Blood squirts out of his neck. Yikes! The rabbit presses on it with its paws. "Yeah, well, your mom hit me first," I point out. "Fair's fair." I look around for things that can be used as weapons. I guess technically anything can be used as a weapon. Some people even use pillows. They smother you with them. I spot a handsaw leaning against the wall next to David. It doesn't really help me over there, though. I try to will it to my hand like a Jedi. Except I'm not a space magician, so it doesn't work. The saw just leans there. I decide not to stare at it and give David any ideas, so I look around for other options. After looking around for about 2 seconds, I take back what I said about anything being able to be used as a weapon because all I see is dust, and unless David Clark has wicked bad allergies, I don't think that's going to stop him. David clutches a nearby table. I think he's struggling to stand up. The rabbit takes its paws away from his neck to steady itself, but then puts them back when he starts right back up bleeding again. "It was just a tea kettle." "Yeah, well, a tea kettle isn't just a tea kettle when you hit someone over the head with it. That'd be like stabbing somebody with a number 2 pencil and then going, "It was just a number 2 pencil." A number 2 pencil would actually be really handy right now. I could even give it to Meredith to fight with. David takes a deep breath and straightens back up. There's something in his hand. It's got a handle and it's a hammer. It looks old and rusty, which means if it doesn't kill me when he jams the claw end into my skull, I'll still be in danger of getting tetanus. I try to remember the last time I got a tetanus shot. Those always hurt. Forget about tetanus, Lily. Being brained with a hammer hurts more. Focus. I want a hammer too. Or maybe not. I already failed a knife fight against a girl my own age. David is older and bigger. Really, I just want, Pasher. Because he'd probably have some idea of what to do. Pasher or nunchucks like my Ninja Turtle Michelangelo. Bigger though, like Lily-sized nunchucks. I put my fists up because, that's the best I got. That handsaw really would be nice. I could slap him with the flat side and then saw his head off or something. I don't like thinking about being violent, though. It makes me sick to my stomach. Just smashing a TV on his head almost made me hurl. I wish I didn't eat those eggy waffles this morning. David fidgets with the hammer in his hand, looking at it and then at me, then at it, then at me. He's probably visualizing what it'll look like stuck in my head. Rabbit leans towards his ear and whispers something in it. I see what you're thinking, I say, waving my fists in circles like they do in movies. And there's something you should know. He grips the hammer tight. His knuckles turn white. What's that? I killed my own parents with a pillar of fire, as well as my best friend. Third best, squeaks Meredith. My best friend and one completely innocent dog. So if you think I won't straight up murder you and your psycho mom, you got another thing coming. And I got friends on the police force. I mean, I got one friend, sort of. But I'm hoping hearing the word police will put some fear into him. It doesn't. She's lying, says the rabbit into David's ear in a not-so-whispery voice. No demon can grant that level of power. I don't need a demon to grant me that power, I snarl. Actually, I need 2 other totems that I don't currently have on me. But they don't know that. I hope. They seem to know a lot about things most people don't. Except they think I'm in cahoots with demons, which I'm not. Not that I didn't try months back. Even checked books out of the library to see if I could summon one and bring my parents back from the dead. That was useless, though. Most library books about demons are all made up. Nobody tells you that when you're a kid. David takes another step toward me. The last time I got in a fight, I lost. Lisa Welch left me with a not-so-nice scar on my face. All I left her with was a heavy psychiatry bill. The first time I got in a fight, I lost, too. That was on the school playground in 2nd grade against this kid named Steve Busker who tried to make me give him my milk money. I didn't even have milk money. He ended up stepping on my head. The point is, I'm not good at fighting. Words are more my thing. Also, I can hold my breath for 47 seconds and see things before they happen. Only one of those 2 things is actually useful right now, though. So I focus on seeing what's going to be... My head fills with a piercing scream. It's so loud, it's like it's actually in my ears. I've never felt pain from a sound before. Even nails on a chalkboard don't really bother me. I cover my ears with my hands, but the scream is in my head. It's not in the air around me, and I can't keep it out. If anything, I'm trapping it inside my brain. That's like if someone saw a bull in a china shop, so their plan to save all the china was to lock the bull inside. The screaming is breaking all of the china in my head. It hurts so much. I can't even stand up anymore, so I don't. Am I screaming too? My mouth is open and it almost sounds like I am, but I can't tell because the scream in my brain is stabbing behind my eyes, and this hot white static fills my eyes like messing with the UHF knob on Nana's old black and white TV. The scream stops as suddenly as it started. I can still hear this awful ghost echo of it making my ears ring. It's like my brain is remembering the sound and playing it back for me. Hey, remember when it felt like it was going to explode inside your skull? Let's rewind and listen to that again. I realize I'm holding my breath and let it out with a gasp. How long was that? The pain was so intense that it felt like hours, but it couldn't have been more than 47 seconds. Oh dear, the stuffed rabbit that's slowly turning brownish red from soaking up David's blood says. Did you just try to do something? Like maybe see the future? My goodness, that looked painful. If its mouth wasn't sewn on, it would probably be grinning at me like Roger tricking me into eating something gross. I clench my fist and drive the pain out by squeezing my eyes shut. Eat me, Mr. Cottontail! David takes a step back. His eyes look normal again for some reason. That sapphire blue color. He looks at the hammer in his hand. What am I doing? He asks. The rabbit presses back against his neck, turning darker in color. David, don't you remember? She attacked you. It says calmly. You're defending yourself. She came into your home and tried to steal me. What? I snap. You're such a liar. Look, David, look at this blood. I'm trying to save you. She's trying to trap you so you bleed out. You've got to get past her and get help. David stares at me for a moment, and then his eyes seem to go dead again. Get out of my way! He looks at his hand with the hammer in it like he just realized it was there. He lifts it up and moves towards me with murder in his eyes once again. Or maybe it's panic. I half expect his eyes to start doing pinwheels in his skull. Something tugs at me hard. It's Meredith. Let me help, Lily, she squeaks. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty much up for anything at this point. Burn him, Meredith! The little blue cat doll wiggles forward furiously. I want to say menacingly, but she's so cute it's not menacing in the least. I want to scoop her up and hug her. Except then we'd both die. Or I'd die, because she's already dead. Maybe we could possess the cat doll together. I rather like possessing this body, though, so I'm going to focus on keeping my ghost in my bones. David pauses, looking at the stuffed cat toy housing my best friend's ghost. Meredith Patterson. The rabbit on his shoulders chuckles in its weird, deep voice. Where's your totem, little fire starter? I'm my own toad! Meredith roars in her little high-pitched cat voice, which suddenly gets loud and deep and has this terrifying monster quality to it. She throws her cottony blue paws towards David and his rabbit. Flames erupt from the air in front of her, a massive wall of white-hot death that shrieks across the basement and pounds into the two of them. Except that doesn't actually happen. Meredith waves her blue paws at the two of them, and maybe the temperature goes up a 1/1,000,000th of a degree due to air friction or something, but it's not noticeable if that actually happens. Meredith looks at her paws, and I can almost imagine the frown on her face. Her human face, not the blue cat face. David blinks, then storms towards me with the hammer. He brings it up over his head with one arm. His eyes are white, like they're rolled back into their sockets, or he's got cataracts or something. Those are when you got filmy stuff in your eyes that make it hard to see. My Nana had a cat with cataracts. I thought for years only cats got cataracts because of that cat and the word cataracts. No, people get them too. This isn't those, though. David's just doing the crazy eyes thing when people's eyes roll back behind their eyelids. So I punch him in the pants, hard. I bring my fist up off the floor because I'm on my hands and knees, and I just swing it full tilt into his crotch. My mom always said, if a boy attacks you, you've got every right to punch him in his boy bits. I asked her once if it would be more effective to punch a boy in the nose, and she said, no, the privates are your best bet. She used to execute people for a living, so she probably knew what she was talking about. David makes this sound like someone does when they find something really interesting. Like, ooh, only it sounds less like he's interested and more like a pig squeal. His hammer hand lets go of the handle and the hammer spirals weakly across the room just over my head. His other hand swipes at my battering arm. I pull it back and tuck and roll just as he drops to his knees, cupping his crotch with both hands. I can see his eyes now, his sapphire blue eyes, and they're welling up with tears. His whole face is turning purple. Lily! Meredith shouts. I reach over and snatch her up before getting back on my feet. Now it's time to get out of here, but first I gotta make sure David's out for the count. He's got his hands over his crotch, so I kick him in the hands as hard as I can. Mom always said to put your all into it. I used to think my all was a part of the body. Kind of like put your back into it. I feel the bones in his hand crunch. Take that, boy bits. David Clark howls and lurches backward like he's trying to fly away, but everybody knows you gotta use your hands when you're flying. The bunny tumbles off of his shoulder, falling to the floor with a bit of splat because it's soaked up so much blood. I turn and sprint for the stairs. I'm really good at running for short distances. Climbing things is more tiring, though. I trip a couple times going up because I want to go 2 steps at a time. I bang my knees on the steps, which feel like they're burning where I skinned them getting pushed to the sidewalk. Thankfully, the bandages keep me from scraping them more. The door is closed at the top of the stairs. Please be unlocked, please be unlocked. I hit the door with my shoulder. It's unlocked, yay! I bust into the kitchen, my sneakers squeaking on wet tiles. David's mom is standing there, wide-eyed, holding a mop and smearing bloody water all over the kitchen floor. She still got on her blue overalls, but the white paint that was on her face is smeared with red, probably from the blood on the floor. "Oh," she says, startled. "Hello, you must be a friend of Davy's. I thought I heard you two playing down in the basement." I freeze, confused. I kind of expected her to start beating me with the mop she's holding. Instead, she's just smiling and mopping up blood. That's Mrs. Donovan's blood. She's turned into some sort of mushroom person that's spreading throughout the house. I don't know what's going on, but this place is like a crazy nightmare house, and I regret ever setting foot in it. Get away from me! I move towards the door to the front hallway. She shifts on her foot, and I think she's about to lunge at me, so I stop in my tracks and watch her like a hawk. At least a land-based hawk. Do they have land-based hawks? I'm not a bird expert. Mrs. Clark cocks her head. One of her eyes isn't looking in the same direction as the other. She looks like a doll somebody broke the plastic eye off of and glued it back on backwards. She sets them up against the kitchen counter and walks stiff-legged over to the fridge. "Do you want a cookie before you go?" she asks robotically. She takes down the Sleepy Kitty cookie jar and opens it to reveal their weird stockpile of Fig Newtons. "What? No, I don't want a Fig Newton." Meredith whispers from my hand. "Lily, just run!" "Yeah, okay," I tell her. Mrs. Clark gives a confused smile. "Okay?" She moves towards me again, partially blocking my route to the next room. Her hands are full, she can't grab me. I've just got to shove past her and make for the front door. Or maybe throw myself out the windows like they do in the cowboy movies. I don't really want to go through the window, though. Those cowboys don't tend to get up. This cowgirl is taking the door route. Get along, little doggy. I make a dash for it, except I don't. Instead, I slip on the wet floor for a second before getting any traction. Once you're on wet tiles, sneakers become slippers. I stumble for a second, clutch Meredith tight to me, and barrel towards David Clark's weird robot-acting mother with the blood and pain on her face and stupid Fig Newton sleepy cat cookie jar in her hands. A sharp cry comes from behind me. "Mother!" I turn to look back. You shouldn't do that, by the way. When you're making a mad dash on slippery tiles, don't look back. It's David. He's standing at the top of the stairs. His face is red like you get after you've held your breath for over 40-second sevens, or I guess when someone kicks you hard in the pants. There are tears streaming out of his eyes and blood running down the side of his head. I only glance at him for a second because I'm shoving his mother over on her crazy bed as I sprint for the door. You know how in some dreams everything is slow-mo? Like an action movie when they want you to see an explosion, so they slow it down? Or I guess they speed up the filming so it appears slower? I don't know, I'm not a movie expert. Anyway, this is about dreams, not movies. But I guess it's about both because it's really about feeling like time is slowing down, but you sense everything at a normal speed, and it's very disorienting. Everything in the kitchen is going in slow motion, I think. Or I'm just thinking really fast, which is kind of unusual for me. Mrs. Clark is screaming, "Oh my God, Davy, oh my poor baby." But it starts coming out like, "Oh my poor." David is pointing at me and his face looks totally like Satan, all red with wide eyes, and his hair is even sticking out at the sides and could be devil horns. He's yelling something too, but it's like, "Stop!" door, which I'll bet is probably stop her, because that's most likely what he would be wanting his mother to do. Meanwhile, I'm ramming into his mother's arm and the sleepy cat cookie jar is going up in the air and I can see the Fig Newtons tumbling out of the hole as it spins slowly upside down. But I'm also running past her and the stupid cookie jar is floating like space debris right in front of my face, and wouldn't it be amazing if I don't totally knock myself out with the sleepy cat cookie jar? It would be. Fortunately, I don't, because I'm thinking somehow faster than I'm seeing things and I just gotta tilt my neck and the cookie jar smashes against the side of my head. Ow. It shatters. Fig Newton stuff scattering through my hair and down my shoulder. All things considered, I've had worse. Getting hit in the head with a cookie jar is nothing compared to a tea kettle. I just keep going. Sort of. The cookie jar knocks me off balance just enough that instead of flying out the door, I pitch into the side of the door frame with my legs whip out under me and buckle around the door jamb. That's jam with a B, not jam like jelly, which is what my lower half feels like now. It'd be a riot to watch in America's Funniest Home Videos, but leaving it is less amusing. I slide down the wall with a heavy thump and lay there for a second, trying to wrap my head around what just happened. Her! David finishes shrieking. Called it! I roll over, ending up on my arm, which bends backward. I don't scream. There's already been enough screaming. If everybody's screaming constantly, it just gets annoying. My brother Roger used to scream at our mom and dad whenever they gave him a curfew on nights he wanted to hang out with his friends Dustin and Skeeter. But they knew they had to make sure he was back before 11 or he'd probably end up in jail. One teenage boy alone isn't a big deal, but once they combine with one or more other teenage boys, it's like that robot that was made out of 5 lions. Super destructive. Mrs. Clark looks down, her eyes laser focusing on me. You! Your doorbell's about to ring. I say. I don't know why I said it, except it is. Sure enough, the chime from the front door rings. If there wasn't blood all over the floor mixed with soapy water, and I'm banged up from running into a wall and David's red-faced and looking ready to explode, and there's Fig Newtons everywhere, I'd probably comment on how pretty the doorbell sound is. But there is blood all over the floor, and I'm pretty banged up from running into this stupid wall, and David's red in the face from getting kicked in the privates, and there's Fig Newtons everywhere, and the doorbell belongs to the Donovans, who are vegetables in the basement back room. Like, really vegetables. So I don't comment. David and his mom look at each other. The doorbell rings again. Ding, 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 dong. Someone says, "Get her in the bathroom. Have your mother answer the door. Don't panic." That's when I notice that nasty stuffed rabbit sticking out one of the front pockets of David's pants. Oof, I don't like that thing. Help! I scream at the top of my lungs, or rather I start to. I get out just the H and the E and a bit of the L. When you're screaming help, you tend to drag the L out, because that P is the end of the word and the end of the scream, and you really want the scream to last. So oftentimes people don't even get to the P, just help! And then other people usually figure out the word is help and come running. But me, I only get out hell, and then David's mom's hand kisses my cheek with the force of a battering ram and finishes my screaming with a sound like somebody breaking a really fat stick across their knee. She slaps me so hard I think I'm going to suffer whiplash again. Last time I got whiplash was from being in a car accident where my head was traveling with the rest of my body at about 30 or 40 miles per hour, and then my body stopped and my head kept going, and thank God we have necks to keep our heads attached. This time my head and body are going a speedy no miles per hour, and suddenly my head snaps to the side at about 30 or 40 from the force of Mrs. Clark's hand. It takes the wind right out of me. "I got her," David says. "Go answer the door. Turn on the TV first. And for Pete's sake, wash your face." I'm just going to lie down here on the floor for a moment. I hope you don't mind. Yes, I can feel David picking me up. Or rather, he's grabbing my arms and dragging me, but that's good enough. No, I'm not unconscious. I'm not visiting Roger. As I guess I'll call it from now on. I'm just stunned by being slapped so hard by an adult. Mrs. Clark's hand knocked the fight out of me. That lady has a swing that would put my mom and dad's to shame. Honestly, if she spanks David with that hand, it's no wonder he's a psycho. "Lily, get up!" I hear Meredith yelling. She's getting fainter as I'm being dragged away. "Not now, Meredith. I'm trying to think." If David is left alone with me, I can probably punch him in the pants again and get away in time to get the attention of whoever's at the door. Ding, 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 ding dong. I'll be right with you, Mrs. Clark yells from somewhere else. Then there's the feeling of carpeting for a bit that's kind of nice and soft. It reminds me of lying on the carpet in Meredith's bedroom while her house burned down. Speaking of burning, being dragged across this carpet is starting to feel not so nice on my back. Rug burns are nasty. One time in 5th grade, I was sitting in the back of Mr. Furafet's science class with my friend Simone, and I had a contest to see who could rub our fists on the carpeting for the longest. I won, but I got a really nasty rug burn on my knuckles that hurt for weeks. I wonder how Simone is doing. My head thumps on cold tiles. We must be in the bathroom. I recognize the odors of soap and antiseptic and other smells from when David patched me up in here earlier. Now he's propping me up against something hard and cold. It's probably the bathtub. Leave me with her and go get yourself cleaned up, quickly, I hear the rabbit say. No, take the rabbit with you. Come on, David. And find that cursed doll. Right, David says. The door makes a door-shutting sound. You can open your eyes, the rabbit says. Is it talking to me? Well, it must be talking to me. There's nobody else in here. I don't open my eyes or say anything. I know you're awake. You're not fooling me with this possum act. I open my eyes. The rabbit is laying beside me on the bathroom floor, looking limp and dead like a normal toy. I guess normal toys aren't dead, just not alive. The rabbit is looking like a normal stuffed rabbit. What do you want? I ask it. It's not about what I want. The rabbit's voice comes from behind me. I try to look behind me without turning my head, but my eyes don't go that far back. I have to roll over. My cheek is burning and throbbing at the same time from Mrs. Clark's nasty slap. There's a shadow sitting on the toilet. I don't mean that something is casting a shadow on the toilet. I mean that there's a person sitting on the toilet and they look like they're made out of whatever shadows are made out of. Darkness? Is darkness a thing that other things can be made from? It's hard to explain, I guess, but basically there's a person about the same size and shape as me or David, like kid-sized, and they're sitting on the toilet beside me, only I can only see them because I can't see entirely past them, if that makes any sense. Hell, I'm seeing it and it doesn't really make sense. Imagine Peter Pan and his shadow if the shadow got up and sat on the toilet. I think you get the idea. What are you? I asked the shadow. My name is Fur, says the rabbit's voice from the shadow. It gestures in some way, but I can't really tell what it's doing because it's a freaking shadow. And when arms aren't sticking out or whatnot, it looks mostly like a big blobby mess with a person's head and a couple of legs. Cute. It is a cute name, but the thing is not cute. It's frightening. Sometimes looking at it, it looks like I'm seeing David's shadow as he stands over me. Other times, it looks like I'm talking to my own shadow. It sort of flows like liquid darkness. You want to get out of here, Fur says. You don't need to say yes, I already know. In the moment, that is your greatest desire, Lily. Egress. Okay. Isn't an egress a type of bird? I don't know what that has to do with anything. But beyond that, beyond escape, lies the desire to see your parents again, and that is truly overwhelming. It makes a sound like a sigh. I can smell it wafting off of you. It probably is smelling the soap and disinfectant. I sniff my hand to make sure I'm not too stinky from walking through the hallway wallpapered with Mrs. Donovan. No, I smell okay, I think. I don't know what it's talking about. The shadow sits there and watches me silently. I feel a little silly sniffing myself, so I stop. It starts talking again. I can give you what you want. Your parents. I can give them back to you. That's what I do. I give people what they want. Why are you trying to make a deal with me? You belong to David. It leans back and a laugh comes out. The air over its head swirls with a black cloud. No. You've got it backward. David belongs to me. I give him what he truly desires, and in return, he brings you to me. Can I just say, I really hate it when people talk in riddles. Like, just get to the point. Stop beating around the bush and just tell me what the hell is going on, I tell Furfur. I sit up crisscross applesauce, making sure the rabbit doll is behind me and Furfur's shadow is in front of me. I pretend to tuck in my shirt so that I can grab the doll and stuff it under my butt. Actually, while I'm at it, tucking in my shirt is probably a good idea, so if I get dragged across the carpet somewhere later, I don't get more of a rug burn. All right. Furfur holds its hands out. I can see them fairly clearly for being shadows. He's got 6 fingers on each hand. You summoned me. We sit there for a moment. No, I didn't. I would remember something like that. Furfur nods. You summoned me back in March. It was terrible. You are not very well versed in Latin, I have to tell you. And your handwriting is atrocious, but yes, you summoned me. In a rather half-assed manner that left me stranded 700 miles away in the middle of Ohio and without form, as you can see. I'm technically only half here thanks to you. Oh God, this is a demon. I really did summon it. I even remembered back in March when I checked out that book from the library and tried to recreate some of the drawings in it. I had to use blood, and I didn't want to get caught cutting myself, so I spent weeks pricking my fingers and collecting it in fingernail polish bottles that Mrs. Lake had given me after she was done with them and I'd rinsed them out, because the last thing I needed was blood mixed with fingernail polish. Furfur can see the gears spinning in my head. Maybe it's just one gear. Right, so there I was in Centerburg, Ohio, this dumpy little trash heap of a town, and I had no corporeal form to use. So I latched onto the first person I could find. David, I whisper. Well, no, actually. It was a sanitation worker by the name of Clive Farrell. He greatly desired some fancy automobile. Of all the dreams to have in life, all he wanted was a shiny new car. That was easy. I helped him get one in Pennsylvania. From him, I gained a little strength, just enough to latch on to the next person. David? No, Jackson Talbot. He was a car salesman. Was. Now he just makes license plates for cars. I think I get how things work for this guy. What did he want? He desired a woman who had come in with her husband to look at buying a new family car. Furfur pauses. It's trying to decide exactly how much to tell me. I know, even though it's just a shadow, because of the way it hums to itself. I helped him have her. From there, I found David. It's been about 5 or 10 minutes, I think. I think blood from the rabbit I'm sitting on is starting to soak me. Is David right outside of the bathroom door? Or did he go out with his mother to see who was ringing the doorbell? I wish this bathroom had a window. I could probably get it open and climb outside. From what Furfur has told me, it doesn't have a body to stop me with, and I'm sitting on its doll, so hopefully he can't reach it. I wonder if I blow hard enough, would it be like blowing on smoke from a fire? What does David want? I finally ask. Furfur sits there silently, humming. It doesn't want to tell me. I can't answer that. Until I've helped him acquire his greatest desire, telling anyone, especially someone like you, would put it in peril. Furfur stands up. It looks like me again. Shadow me. Besides, what's important is what you want, Lily. Because I'm finally here to help you achieve it. I'm not convinced. I read in my book that demons are known for lying. This thing is no doubt trying to trick me in some way. But knowing that, maybe I can turn the tables on it. How do you plan to do that? Shadow me grins. I can see the grin. There's a slice of melon-shaped curve in the face, and it's full of clean white teeth. I wish my own teeth looked that nice. I've still got some of my baby teeth. They're supposed to fall out any day now, at least that's what the dentist tells me. Furfur entwines its 6 fingers on each hand together, then spreads them outward, cracking its knuckles.
We're going to start by killing everybody.
Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I want to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video or listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. I really appreciate it, and anytime you guys give me a subscribe or a follow or a like or a comment or literally just a watch, I can't thank you enough for it because you're the reason I keep making episodes and you guys are the reason that I love horror as much as I do. We're in the middle of summer, and I'm from Texas, which means that it's a great time for iced tea. And you know who makes iced tea? My wife. My wife sells tea. My wife sells tea on etsy.com/shop/ivorymonocletea. If you want to get the Mr. Creepypasta special, you can order a dark and stormy night and specifically request a dabbing sticker that you only get if you ask for it. And as always, I want to give a very special thanks to all of my patrons at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, because you guys are the reasons I get to keep my lights on in the house and get wonderful little treats for my cats and everything like that. And also the reason why we keep getting special custom series just for the channel. So a special thanks to Jacob Shaffer, Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Bryon, Arce, Ken Lando Higuchi, Bobby Karman, Tristain, Pelton, Chase Burnett, Bardo Hawk 764, TheBananaMafia 1, Melancholy Corpse, Hollow Zero, Ferb, Harley, Billy Morrow, Birch, Sashi Sazaku, Kayden the Spooky Boy, MyBodySoundsLikeRiceKrispys, AshWood, Lord of the Weebs, Jay, Feyelocket, Miss Xandra, MrUnsettlingSpaghetti, Eurogore, Suji Campbell, Marco Takes Dabs 420, Stricken, Ozarine Fox, Robert White, Andres Garcia, Snails Brennan, Legit Quad Feed, James Bruce, Chris Lovins, Freddy Krueger, Tynan, Justin Johnson, Michael Scarborough, Infernal One, James Lowe, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Jordan Nels, Hades' Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Cryptic Nightmares, Someone You Love, Kiri the Sloth, Tommy Green, Sky Harbor, Caleb Dougal, Nina Smith, Nico Kayo, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, Trace Miles, Corey Kenshin, and Peaceful Buddha. That's right guys, at patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, you could join this amazing list of people's names I mispronounce and the list of Patreons down there in the description. But of course, none of that is ever required. I just appreciate you guys subscribing and watching and honestly being here. So to all of you, sweet dreams.